Well, hi there. It's Mr. Booth. I'm going to start to put together the ship. So, in the previous lesson, we had built a ship, a 20 by 20 pixel ship, and we exported it out. And I can even pull up the folder here that I've got. And in my folder, I've already got these PNG files. There's a little project over here, something I'm going to work on. And I got my ship right here. It's my PNG file. And we're going to need that here in a moment up here at Code High School. So let's go ahead and close that forever. So this game we're going to build is the classic Asteroids game. Read this stuff. Read all the comments. Okay, pay careful attention to them. First place I'm going to start here is the global variables. And there are two global variables that get used a lot. It's important. If this stuff isn't popping up for you right here, go over to your settings and make sure that you're on the Monaco editor. If you're not on the Monaco editor, hit the little drop down. You might be on the ACE editor. Make sure you're on the Monaco editor. Also, I use dark theme, so you can even change the theme to dark right here. My font size, I make it rather large. You can adjust your font sizes as well on those controls right there at the gear. All right, so, and every year, Code High School gets better actually at making this interface operate more like Visual Studio, which a lot of us coders. So this is going to be a common variable that I want to use. It's going to be an integer variable, and it's just going to simply hold on to a number. And the number that I'm going to be getting is the getWidth function. Now what getWidth does, this is a function call, okay? And what it does is it sends a value back. And the value that it sends back is the width of the screen that this script is in control of. And if we're going to have a screen width, of course, we're going to have a screen height. And the function call for that is a function call to get height. Get height gets the height of the screen and sends it back. Now, colors used in the game. There's a website called Color Hex. And not Color Hex A, Color Hex. That's the site that I use. So at Color Hex, they've got this link right in the middle called Latest Palettes. And, oh, please go away. There we go. And on Latest Palettes, I think I had to turn my ad blocker off, so I apologize for all of the ads. But there's palettes where you can get the important information that you're going to need here in a moment. So I did have a number in my cheat sheet, but let me think about what I want to make my background look like. I think I'm going to. I like this little tan looking thing right here. Now, there's a number over here. And you notice there's this term up here, hex. Hex means a hexadecimal. So I'm going to copy. I'm going to just use my mouse. I'm going to copy that. Hold down the control key, press C. That's the hotkey combination for copy. I'm going to copy that. And then back here in my code, colors that I'm going to use in the game. So it typed the var for me. This is going to be called background color. And then I'm going to paste that code, but it's important to make sure that that code gets put in between two double quotes, like an open quote and a closed quote. And it's got to be 6 characters. So, and it's got to have the hashtag. Missing the hashtag is not going to work. So that's the hexadecimal code for the background color that I'm going to use. And let's see. Then we have some game management variables. This one is called a delay, and we're going to make it equal to 20. And this is how many milliseconds. Every 20 milliseconds, we're going to create a new frame. So our frame rate, if we took 1,000, divided it by 20, do the math on that, you'll get our frame rate. Let's see. 1,000 divided by 20. There we go, 50 frames per second. So that is the frame rate of our game, 50 frames a second. All right, hey, did you see I snuck that into the comments? Now, other variables we're going to need are going to be the width of our ship and the height of our ship. I could have hard coded these numbers into my code, but sometimes, I want to leave the door open to possibly changing the dimensions of the ship. And if you want to do that, hopefully the code will handle it all. So here we're going to have our ship width. And we're going to set that equal to 20, and we're going to have our ship height, which are also going to be equal to 20. Yeah, next we're going to set up a variable that's going to be our actual ship. And this is going to be a new web image. And you notice if you can type it all out. You can even let that Monaco editor type for you. So what we need to do is we need to get a link right here for where our image is. But at the moment, our image isn't up on the internet. Now, most of you were in beginning game design last year. Remember how we would go over here to the upload page? And on the upload page, we click upload file. Remember doing this kind of stuff? And then, let's see, has it picked it up yet? Sure has. There's my Alvarez High Advanced Game Design Asteroids project graphics. You saw this when you watched the video on making your ship. So there's my path, there's my PNG files, and then there's my ship that I'm going to use. So I'm going to select my ship there. The PNG files will be did the export out of our ship. And I'm going to click open on that. That gives me this link right here. So I just click that link and like magic, it's copied for me. Now that I've copied that link, I will come over here into my code and on line 29, press Control V and I will paste that link in there. And let's see. I forgot an equal symbol right there. So it's that whole thing on the screen. So var ship equals new web image. Then we paste that link in there. Don't forget your closing parenthesis. Don't forget your terminator. All right. Now, we're going to get the starting position where when the game starts, the ship starts right in the center of the screen. It also marks the spawn location because you do get 3 lives. So we'll be respawning. So this first one's going to be called ship X. And it's equal to the, now here, I'm going to start taking advantage of this. There's what I got. Screen width. I'm going to hit the enter key. Types it for me. Divided by 2. Subtract. Let's see. Ship width. I'm going to click on it with my mouse, and it typed it for me. Divided by 2. So what that's doing, it's finding a position that's in the center of the screen, okay? Because if you divide the screen width by 2, you're finding what number is right in the middle. That's marking the middle along the horizontal axis. As well as, but you have to take into account also the width of the ship because you want to be centering it on the screen. So we have to find the middle of the ship. And the middle of the ship is 20 divided by 2, 10 pixels. So we're going to subtract away 10 pixels from the exact center. This will cause our ship to be perfectly centered on the screen. Hopefully it'll make more sense when you see it actually working. So then we're also going to have a ship Y, and that's the screen height divided by 2 minus the ship height divided by 2. And again, I'm slipping. There's my equal symbol in there. Did you see all that blood on the screen? All that red? A moment ago when that equal symbol wasn't there? That red had been there for a while and I wasn't paying attention to it. But it's telling me something. It's telling me that I've created a problem. I'll put that equal symbol right there. we'll try to make a teachable moment out of that. So when you see all the underlining in red, take a moment. Yeah, see what you didn't get. So now, these next two variables, these are going to be used for rotating the ship. So this first one is called ship rotate speed. Now, these variables, they have to be typed by you. You have to type them. Very important that you capitalize the R, capitalize the S. Try to spell it just like I spelled it. So I got a var here. This one's going to be called ship rotate. This number is going to be keeping track of, are we rotating to the left or are we rotating to the right? So this is also a spot in my notes where I can see that I want you to, as we're typing every now and then, I'm going to want you to add some comments. Again, comments are really important. Hopefully you read all the comments at the beginning. So the comment I want to put right here is I want to make sure I talk about what is this line, what is it doing? How is this going to be used? So this is how many degrees we would rotate in one frame. We can't rotate more than 5 degrees in one frame. Now, if we're going 50 frames per second, we can still rotate pretty fast. If you think about it, 50 frames per second, 50 times 5 is 250. It's not quite a full circle. Full circle will be 360 degrees. But still, even at 50 frames per second, 50 frames per second, it's still going to go 250 degrees in rotation. So it won't need, but it's less than 2 seconds, that's for sure, for a full rotation. And the second variable right here, ship rotate, all so this is going to be controlling whether we're rotating to the left or the right. So you'll see how this works. If ship rotate equals 0, we're going to be rotating one. Well, we're not going to be rotating. But if it equals 5, we're rotating to the right. If it equals -5, we're rotating to the left. And that has to do with the ship rotate speed. It'll make sense when we actually start writing the code up, because we're gonna. That's what's coming. Now, we're down to the last of the global variables. This one's called ship rotation. And we're also going to be equaling that to 0. And like the comment says, it's used to keep track of the total rotation in degrees from start. So now this sets up the variables. All right. Now, first in the start function, take a moment, read that at some point. Read all the comments. There's important information there talking about what we're doing here. But it's important to know that the start functions, it's where everything begins in a JavaScript program. When we get to Unity Game Engine, you're going to see where we're not just going to have one gigantic file with all these functions. We're going to have multiple files that, but everything has to start somewhere. And then in the C#, it begins in the awake function. So, and something like that even exists in JavaScript. Alrighty, so we're going to set the background color first here. So this is a all right. So this function is called set background color. It's very important that you camel case these. When I camel case them, it's not optional. Set background color is an actual function call. What you do is you feed it a color, and this background color variable, this was this hexadecimal code that we got from that page. And at this point, if I run my code, I should see something happen. So I'm going to click my save button, and I'm going to hit my run code button, and there's my background color. My background color showed up just like I expected. Cool. All right. Now we're going to set up the keyboard callback functions. And this is going to involve the key down method and the key up method. And what happens is if you press a key, the key down method will call the key down function, which is right there, function key down. Also notice there's this thing called an E right here. That's an event. So what happens is when the key down method goes, it's going to call the key down function, and the key down function is going to get an event. What key was pressed? So we're going to set those up. So this is going to be the, now I've already typed it for you right here, so I'm going to copy it, Control C, and paste it. There's the key down method. Open up a parenthesis, and I'm going to type key down. Put my terminator. So now if I press a key down method's going to get it. And I've also typed for you the key up method. By the way, do you see the dark magic I'm doing there? If you double click a word, it'll select the whole thing and makes it easy to copy. This works in many programs. And we'll use the key up function. All right, so now I've got my keyboard events set up. The key up function, likewise, if the key up method is activated because a key got released, the key came up. When the key comes up, that gets detected by the key up method. That information, that event, is sent to the key up function down here in the key up function, which receives its event, the event that occurred. All right. Now, we're also going to have a function call here now to the function called make ship. And there is make ship. And this function call in the start function will then branch all the way down to the end here in the make ship function. So scroll to the end of your starter code, and at the end of your starter code, you're going to find this. You'll also find one of Mr. Booth's themes, How Much I Love Space. So we're going to put the ship on the screen. So we do ship. Now this is using something called a dot operator. Okay. And so the dot operator, you've known about it your whole life. Think about the web pages you go to end in .com, don't they? And so we're just using the dot operator here. So the ship is that variable is our ship. It's our little graphic of our ship. And we're going to set its position. And I don't know why it doesn't know set position, but it's supposed to. And the position we're going to set it at is the ship X, comma, the ship Y. Then we're going to add the ship. There's the ship to the screen. So I'm going to click the save button here, and we should now have our ship on the screen. So we can now see our ship. It's now appeared in the screen. So cool. We get a feel for how it's going to look in the video game. Not a bad looking graphic, actually. I'm pretty happy with that graphic. It turned out better than what I was expecting. So we'll come back up here to the start function. Let's finish this off. The last thing we're going to do in the start function is we're going to set the timer going. This will then cause the game function to take over, and the game function will call itself every delay milliseconds, which gives us our 50. All right, and there it is, the set timer function. Nope, that's timeout. Timer, set timer. And it's going to be calling the game function every delay milliseconds. So that turns on the timer. So if I hit the clear button and run it again now, you may not realize it, but the game function's getting called every second. I could do a real quick print ln. Uh-oh. Go back down there. All right, let's see what happens here when I do this. See right down here? There's all these boos, and this is going on forever and ever. When I clear it here. But running it just keeps printing boo over and over again because 50 times a second, the game loop's getting called. Anyway, that's not what we're here to do. What we are going to do is we are going to send a function call to the rotate ship function. So I can actually copy that right there, paste it, and put the parentheses, and now we've got our function call set up. Eventually, inside of our game function, which gets called every frame, we're going to have more function calls, because more things are going to happen. Our ship's going to be able to fly around the screen, so we're going to need to every frame be handling flying our ship around the screen. So you'll see more functions coming. Now, this brings us to the rotate ship function. This is the powerhouse of today's code. But before we even get there to the rotate ship function, let's go down and take care of key down and take care of key up, because these are two special cases. We need to be thinking about when the A key or the D key is pressed, or when the A key or the D key is released. And we need to handle those cases. So in the key down function, I've already got some stuff set up for you. We know that an event's been passed. I've got some hopefully useful comments there for you to read. I want to consider, if it was the A key that got passed, then I want to handle that. I want to do something. And otherwise, I want to do something else. And so right here, there's a section in here called docs. And this is in keyboard effects. Let's see here. Do they give me? They do, don't they? Right in here, basics. Let's see, keyboard effects or keyboard mouse. That's what we're looking for. Animation. Oh, data structures. Communists. Mouse events. We're getting close. Keyboard events. There we go. Awesome. Cool. So there's some useful code down here in keyboard events. Where do they have that hidden? I mean, come on. Oh, right there. I missed it. Keyboard events. That would have been a shortcut to get there real fast if I'd have just caught it. If you caught it, why didn't you say something? It's okay. You're not here. So the bit of code that I want to steal from this, because sometimes you can make use of code here, and it's this bit right here. So I'm going to copy just that part, going from the e.key code is equals, double equals, that's the comparison operator, keyboard dot letter, and then inside the parentheses, the letter K. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to have to change something, but that's okay. Back in my code over here, I'm going to paste that, and I'm change K to A. And if that's the case, I'm going to set the ship rotate equal to minus ship rotate speed. Now, ship rotate speed is 5. So I'm setting it basically to minus 5. My ship rotate speed is either going to be Positive 5, spinning me clockwise, or negative 5, spinning me counterclockwise. Rotate to the right, rotate to the left. All right. So that takes care of that. Now I get to do more recycling here. I'm going to copy that again. Down here, instead of true, I'm going to paste it, and we're looking for A and D. So now if I am D, I'm going to recycle this bit of code. I want my ship rotate to be equal to positive, or just ship rotate speed. That's going to give me a positive 5. Be sure to take off that negative symbol that's right here. You don't want that negative symbol when we're pressing the D key. When we press A, we want to rotate to the left. Negative 5 degrees will rotate us to the left. Press the D key, we want to rotate to the right. Positive 5 will rotate us 5 degrees to the right. Now, I get to basically recycle all of this. Okay, I get to recycle it all. And if I'm really careful, I only want to take out the two ifs and their accompanying curly braces. I'm going to paste that right there because it's got everything I want, except in this case, if either of these keys come up, we want ship rotate to be set equal to 0. Likewise, if the A key or the D key, if either one of those keys go up, we'll want the ship rotate variable to be set to 0. And that will cause us to rotate 0 degrees every frame. Our ship won't rotate anymore. So that sets up the key up method. The keys go up, ship rotate goes to 0. The keys go down, it depends. If the A key goes down, we get negative ship rotate speed, negative 5. If the D key goes down, we get positive, just ship rotate speed, positive 5, rotating to the right. All right. So now we got the key ups and the key downs functions set up and ready to go. Now we can get in here, handle the rotate ship function, and we're going to be able to see some stuff happen because right now it's still kind of boring. A and D is not working, but we're going to get there, of course. We'll get there. All right. So now in the rotate ship function, we're going to handle rotate if it's called for. The ship rotate variable is set in the key up and key down methods. And those things we just got through working on. And so in this first if, I'm going to take out the word true. If ship rotate is less than 0, and this next symbol, it's the vertical line, it's right above the backslash, which is right above the enter key. Find your enter key on your keyboard. Look at the key right above it. It's the backslash and then shift, and you get the vertical line key. Two of those vertical lines is the mathematical operator called the OR operator. Because we're doing the OR operator here. It's possible, so long as one of these is true, we're going to get in here and do this stuff. So if the ship rotate variable is less than 0, if that's true, we'll get inside this if statement. Or if the ship rotate variable is greater than 0, we'll get in here and we'll rotate the ship. As long as ship rotate equals 0, which, as you saw in the key up method, every time we release a key, ship rotate gets put back to 0. No more rotating. But now, if ship rotates less than 0, negative 5, or if ship rotates greater than 0, positive 5, we need to handle rotating the ship. So we're going to do ship.rotate now. I believe something should happen. Let's see here. All right. Yeah, I rotate left and I rotate right, don't I? And when I release the keys, everything stops. Okay, cool. All right. Now, there is one issue that's going on here, I'm fascinated about the fact that yeah, it rotated well. That's interesting. So there's another variable. It's an important one we're going to need later when we have to use trigonometry to figure out what direction our ship is pointing in. And so this knowing this value, the degrees, this degree measure is very important. So we need to increase the ship rotation. So ship rotation, and that's right down here, ship rotation plus equals. Now this is the plus equals operator. What it does is it's going to take the next thing I type, which is ship rotate. It's either going to be 5 or -5, of course, and it's going to add it to the ship rotation. We're going to be keeping track of what that number is because we need to be able to have access to that number, like I said, later to figure out what direction is forward, what direction are we pointing in. But we have to check for a few things here, and that's that as we're rotating, we don't want to be rotating into numbers greater than 360. Once we get to 360 degrees and rotating our ship, we want to automatically snap ship rotation back to 0 so that we always are dealing with degrees that are between -360 and 360. Because sometimes we are going to be rotating in the negative direction. And so those are the possible degrees, because we don't want to be handling 720 degrees or 1080 degrees or 3025 degrees because somebody really likes to spin to the left. We just want to keep these numbers small and reasonable. So we're going to first check to see, and this is going to be using something called the modulus operator. And again, you guys and girls should have seen the modulus operator in beginning game design. So if the ship rotation mod 360 equals 0, that means that it's reached 360, and it divided by itself it equals 1 with a remainder of 0. And so this means that it's time to reset. And so at this point, we're going to set our ship rotation back to 0. This will work whether or not the ship rotation is -360 or +360. Now, there's a little debug code that I could type right here just to check it out. And ship rotation. So now, if I run my code now, and if I press my A key, I'll see now that I'm keeping track of my ship rotation to the left. And as I keep rotating, notice here that I as soon as I hit -360, it automatically switched it back to 0. Now I'm going to rotate to the right. And again, as soon as I hit +360. So this is just this whole little thing right in the middle, just it's keeping our ship rotation as a reasonable number, not letting it grow out of proportion. You don't want to let your numbers become really big in computer programs because it can create problems. All right. So now, like I said, please take the time to carefully read through all the comments, review back through the code. If you got any questions, ask me. This first step, we did a lot. This way we've written all these variables here with this like ship, lowercase s, rotate, capital R, speed, capital S, or ship rotate with the lowercase s and the capital R. This is called camel casing. Do you remember that from last year? Do you remember that? Camel casing, and a couple of you maybe even from 2 years ago And there might even be a freshman who's come back around for 12th grade, advanced game design. I don't know. We'll see this year. It's a new year. So make sure you know about camel casing. This vocabulary is important. If you have any problems with your code, try to debug it. Watch the video again if you need to. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you in class.